Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's insurance agency webinar presented by Farmers Insurance Group. Farmers is one of the country's largest insurers of automobiles, homes, and small businesses, as well as providing access to insurance and financial services products. Today, we are fortunate to be joined by Nate Hildner, District Manager. Nate has been with the Farmers Insurance family for the past 19 plus years and has served in several executive leadership roles in 6 different states. Most recently, he was the head of Farmers Life Insurance Company in Seattle, Washington, before becoming a district manager in Naperville in 2018. Nate and his wife, Catherine, have 3 beautiful children, ages 17 months to 6 years old, and he's an avid golfer and loves Michigan and Detroit sports. Nate has a passion for working side by side with entrepreneurs as they build their legacy and make their dreams of owning a business with unlimited earning potential come true. Before I go ahead and turn things over to Nate, I wanted to let you all know that today's webinar will be recorded and you'll receive an email later today so that you can view or share it with any colleagues, friends, or family members you think would be interested in learning more about the opportunity. At the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session. You'll notice that you are muted and you will be throughout the call, so please use the chat feature to send over any questions you may have. Now let me turn things over to Nate.
Wonderful. Thank you for that excellent introduction. And although I am a diehard Michigan Wolverine fan, as you can see my chair and Detroit sports teams like Beth mentioned, I do have an affinity for Fighting Illini, the Northwestern Wildcats, the Salukis, and even if you're a Bears fan, we do show love to you. So I really do appreciate all of the professionals that are with us this morning. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to work with Beth and Wall Street Jobs. I am super excited to share what I truly believe after my 20 years in the insurance business is the best small business opportunity in America. And you can see by the banner in the back, as we talk about with business owners and entrepreneurs, why are they getting into the business? What's driving them? A lot of it revolves around family. And I know it sounds cliche to say, but our culture is all about farmers' family and growing your legacy, growing something for your family after maybe working many years on the corporate side of the business, having the freedom to be your own boss, I think is, one of the most important things that people come to me when I ask them, why do you want to be a farmer's agency owner? And they say, I want unlimited earning potential, I want to be my own boss, and I want to grow something for my family. So to me, I think that is why we have the best small business opportunity. I'll talk about some competitive advantages that we have versus some other very, very good companies. And I look forward to your questions as we get moving. We are in beautiful downtown Naperville today. Not so beautiful out because it is cloudy and a little bit rainy. But we do have 33 agents in this district throughout the greater Chicagoland area. I have agents all the way out west to DeKalb, all the way into Northern Illinois and Inverness, down south into Streator and Ottawa, down in the city in Lincoln Park. So our district services agency owners really throughout all of the greater Chicago area, and we would love the opportunity to share our agency owner opportunities and a protege opportunity with you if this sounds appealing to you. So Beth, why don't we move forward to the next slide? To me, I can show you a bunch of numbers and statistics, but when I think about what resonates most with me throughout my career, it's hearing stories and stories about other people that have recently come into our business that we have the tremendous fortune to work with. And I've got 2 of our most recent agents up on the screen, and I want to tell you a little bit about them and their stories. So the first is Fred. Fred and I started talking in August of last year, and it was via LinkedIn. And he was a referral. And I sat down with Fred and learned his story. He had spent 17 years with CarMax, so he sold cars, worked his way up into management. And he said, hey, Nate, I want to own something that's my own. I'm tired of the corporate life. I've kind of hit a professional and financial ceiling. I'm capped out on how much money I can make. Want something that I can, earn unlimited commissions and revenue on, and something that he could potentially, just as the sign behind me said, hand down to one of his two daughters, or maybe both of them in the future. And I would tell you that family rights and giving an agency, handing an agency off is specific to farmers. Our competitors do not allow you to do that. So that's one of our big contractual advantages. And as we talk about the farmer's family culture, I think that's important to mention numerous times. And Fred wanted to give back to his community. He felt like the south side of Chicago, that they were underserved, they were not consulted and educated in the insurance marketplace like they should be. So he was passionate about giving back to his community. He became a retail agent, which means he had 50,000 in capital, and I'll go into that in a little bit. And we are not a franchise. So you are an independent contractor with Farmers, which means you don't have a boss. I'm not your boss. I am your consultant, and my team and I, you'll get to meet one of my heads of recruiting here shortly, John Breidenbach, and Gabby Caceres, who is my right-hand onboarder, trainer, agency business consultant. Our job is to make all of you successful. So he's in business for himself. He started November 1st, so he's coming up on 1 year. He is doing a phenomenal job. Everybody kind of wants to know, well, how much money can I make? That's another very, very important thing as you're looking at new opportunities, right? How do I provide for my family? And that's why I put the revenue per month. Right now, Fred is averaging over $13,000 per month. And if you think about small businesses, how many small businesses actually generate a profit and generate a take home well over 100,000, even within the first 2 years of business? Not many, but through the retail bonus program, which we're going to go in depth here shortly, your earning potential is phenomenal, and there's no cap. And you see on the right-hand side, as I transition over to my second story, this gentleman is making over 15,000 per month, and that number is going to continue to increase based on his production. So Fred is all about family. He's the most positive guy I've come in contact with. Fred is more than happy to talk to anybody that may be on this call today to learn more about the opportunity to share his story, and so is Hayden. Hayden came into the business a little bit different. Hayden was a 20-year-old young man working in a factory that always had aspirations of owning a business. And he just had the entrepreneurial mindset that some people are just, to me, are born with. But he did not have the 50,000 in capital, which is required to be a retail agent. So our program, where we can bring people into the business that don't have the capital behind them, is called the Protege program. And it's a 12-month program where a person like Hayden goes to work with a mentor farmer's agent for up to 12 months. If they achieve certain production targets, they then open their own retail agency and they waive the $50,000 in capital. And that's how Hayden came into the business. So he learned under a mentor farmer's agent, did over 100,000 in premium, not commissions. And he opened his doors on May 1st of this year in downtown Streator. If you know anything about Streator, it's not a metropolis. It's a very blue collar, factory workers, etc. And Hayden is doing a phenomenal job. He's 21 years old now, has 4 staff. He's having fun each and every day. And he's just driven by being the best. And that's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for entrepreneurs that have a little edge to them, that love sales and love owning their business. And again, you can see his revenue. He'll bring in well over 150K this year, and 21 years old. So Beth, I will have you move on to the next slide. I hope those stories resonated with each of you. I do want to give a little bit more background on just a few things that tie into the farmer's value proposition. I'm not going to go through every piece of this slide, but I think it's important that you have the confidence to stand behind what you're selling. And what we are selling is getting our customers back to where they belong after a loss. So a car accident, a house gets hit with a tornado, they have hail damage. Is our claims service going to be there when they need us? And I can tell you with 100% confidence that you can stand behind the Farmers award-winning claims department. I've been in this role as a district manager now for 4 years after leaving the corporate side, and I've had 4 complaints from customers out of over 50,000 policies. And our agents will say, if anything, right, John, that if anything, we pay too much versus not enough. And for a customer and for an agent, that's a good thing. The second thing, so you may be on this call today and say, gosh, I'm trying to find a new opportunity. I don't know much about insurance. I don't have my insurance licenses. I don't know how successful I'll be because I don't know if I'll get the proper training. I don't know anything about it today. I promise you, when you are done with the onboarding experience with my team and the award-winning University of Farmers training that you will be required to go through, you will be prepared and you will be a successful agent. So rest assured that the support you will get from myself and my team is really second to none. And lastly, I think a lot of people always want to know, well, what's the financial backing? There's a lot of disruption in the marketplace, and I see companies starting to, maybe go solvent. And is Farmers going to be around? Hey, we've been around for over 93 years now. We are owned by the world's largest insurance company, and that's Zurich out of Switzerland. Since we purchased MetLife Property and Casualty, this slide should actually be updated. We are over 24 billion, that's with a B, in combined assets. So rest assured, we're not going anywhere. We are backed by a monster insurance company. So we're going to be around for a very, very long time. I am going to turn it over to my head of recruiting, John Breidenbach. He's going to cover the next 2 slides with you, talk a little bit about some of the insurance and financial service products that you're going to be able to offer once you get licensed. And John, I'm going to kick it over to you and maybe talk a little bit about what those products and services are.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Nate, but thank you to everybody for being on the call here. As Nate mentioned, I do a lot of the initial onboarding, recruiting, pre-screen calls, things like that. So I play a big role in the initial conversation that we would have. So if this is something that you'd like to move forward with, or if it's even any interest to you, I'd be able to go into greater depth on the protege, the retail, things like that. But Nate mentioned it a couple times, and something that should resonate is competitive advantage versus some other companies that you may be considering, whether you have experience in insurance or this is something that is brand new to you. Something as a farmer's agent that you can offer is property casualty, life, eventually financial products. So as we go and talk about the initial onboarding process, I handle things like background checks and licensing, production tracking to make sure that you're on pace to hitting your goals. So with the licensing portion, and this slide does a really good job on highlighting it, but when you're getting licensed, we primarily break it into four main parts and products. You're going to have your property, your casualty, your life, and your health insurance licenses. So as you can see, you get property and casualty licensed. You can offer things like auto, home, umbrella, boat, motorcycles. So when the spring comes around and you're sitting down with clients, you're not just talking about insuring their basic auto and home. You're talking to them about the toys that they have. So, and then as you look to get more licenses in the onboarding process, we talk about life and health insurance. So life insurance, and Nate can talk to you about this all day because he comes from more the corporate life side of things, but life insurance is probably, in my opinion, one of the most important products that you can offer as an agent. And that's things like term insurance, whole life, universal, index universal, and many more that you can offer with Farmers. So, you know, as you think about this, you have a huge variety. The cross-sell opportunity from a sales perspective is endless. And then after we say about your first year, you want to start to consider your financial products as well. If somebody is willing to invest their money into a 529 or a 401k, they're going to insure their Honda Civic or their Toyota Corolla with you because they trust you with something important like their financial products. So, you know, that's something that I help you with from the very beginning. We even offer special discounts. I've built relationships in my role over the years with pre-licensing companies. So that's your educational portion before you go and take your state exam, where if this is something that you want to move forward and get help with the licensing portion, we get that heavily discounted too as well. So, you know, and we also, with these products, you have multiple companies. Nate, you probably saw on the last slide, Craft Lake. And Nate had mentioned that we acquired MetLife, their PNC side. So we rebranded that and call it Foremost Signature. So for example, an auto and home product, you can take that business as an agent and quote it in Farmers. And then say it's not competitive, or they're maybe a substandard, they got tickets, it's just not accepted risk by Farmers. You can also quote that in Foremost Signature or other companies like Bristol West. So in some other competitors out there, if you can't write that business on their paper, you can't place a business with the company, it's lost to you. It's lost revenue. So there's always an option. Beth, can we jump to the next slide, please? So with that, we have Farmers, we have Bristol West, we have Foremost Signature. Those are three avenues that you can place business through. Now, we always want to have an option to place business. If you have somebody's financial products, but you don't have their auto and home, and Farmers and these three other companies won't accept that risk, you as an agent can place that. If they won't accept it, you can place that through Craft Lake, which what Craft Lake is, a very high level overview. It's over 20 different carriers that you can go outside and place this business with. So you never lose a client or a household just based on unaccepted risk. So as you think of an agency owner and a small business owner, and say you have producers and people writing business for you, it's huge. And it's one of the biggest benefits of being an exclusive agent with Farmers. And that's why we're here, Gabby, Nate, we're here to make sure that you're successful, you're trained on these products, and you're trained on the companies and how to quote them and how to handle leads and things like that. So we can definitely get you trained up and make sure that we don't throw you in the deep end. So Nate's going to go back and talk to you about the exclusive agent portion of the retail and protege program, but I'd be happy to work with you. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Appreciate you sharing products and services. And just to kind of wrap up those couple of slides, as an agent with Farmers, you literally can be a one-stop shop for all of a customer's insurance and financial needs. And our competitors cannot say the same thing. So let's go a little bit deeper into what it means to be an exclusive agent with Farmers. So Beth, if we can move forward one slide. So a couple things, lots of bonus opportunities in auto and home, commercial and life once you come off of the retail program, which I'm going to go into in a little bit. Just like any other company, we put on some fantastic trips and achievement clubs. Our Topper Club is our top 15% of the agency force, and President's Council is the top 0.5%. And I'm happy to say that in our district, we have 3 President's Council agents that do a phenomenal job. They're leaders in the industry, and we need to find a couple more President's Council agents. You have the opportunity to participate in the Protege program. So if you come on as a retail, one of your staff members can be a protege. So maybe you know somebody in your network that doesn't have the 50,000 capital, but they're great at sales. They're an entrepreneur like Hayden that I talked about earlier. You can be their mentor agent and show them the way. John talked a little bit about our agent appointment agreement. I'm going to talk about it more shortly. One of the biggest contractual advantages, I'm going to say it again in a minute, you own your book of business. So you own the service and commission rights, which also means you can sell it on the open market for the price that you want. Our biggest competitor, State Farm, they are not allowed to do that. It goes right back to Bloomington, Illinois, and they decide where the customers go. And you also have the opportunity to actually purchase service and commission rights from other farmers agents when they decide to retire. And contractual contract value opportunity is really, if you decide you don't want to sell it and maybe you have to leave or head out of state immediately and we're not able to put the deal together, you can sell it back to farmers and they'll cash you out for the equity that you've built in your business. So lots of advantages to be an exclusive agent, but I want to go a little bit deeper on the next slide, Beth, on what I really believe are the home run advantages with us. Again, you own the business, you can sell it on the open market. If you don't want to sell it to somebody that has the capital to buy your agency and you're building a legacy, like it shows behind, you can family rights it to a loved one. Could be brother, sister, mother, father, child, lots of different ways that you can do that. But we have 3rd and 4th generation farmers agents across the United States, and it's one of the reasons that a lot of people come to us. Multiple carriers, John talked about it. We've got Farmers, we got Bristol West, we now have MetLife Property and Casualty, and you can write through Craft Lake and outside. So we literally can insure every single risk that you want out there. So those 3 or 4 bullet points, I mean, separate us from the competition. Other insurance companies are established much more of a employee-employer type relationship. So it's more of a W-2 versus a 1099 with our great company. So Beth, let's move on to the next one. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into the retail program. Thank you, Beth. So this is a 36-month or 3-year program as an agency owner. I'm not going to go super in depth on these bonus opportunities, but I do want you to know what sort of financial support you'd receive when you open your business with Farmers and our district. You'll receive up to $6,000 for your exterior signage. So on the side of your building, on your monument, Farmers will pay up to $6,000 for that. You'll receive a $5,000 signing bonus. You'll receive up to $500 in leads to help you grow your business on a monthly bonus, depending on what sort of production you do. So we'll pay either $300, $400, or $500 per month. You'll receive a bonus on your new business commissions while you're going through training. That's really what the reserve program is all about. You'll receive substantial bonuses through the monthly bonus program, and you'll receive an annual bonus for 3 years based on your production. The retail bonuses are in addition to the base commissions. Your quarterly targets reset each and every quarter. So if you have a bad quarter, no worries. You get a next opportunity the following quarter to make up for it. So it's not like you're playing from behind if you do have a bad month or a bad quarter. There are additional bonus opportunities, which I talked about on the previous slide, and you do receive the worldwide winning new agent training through the University of Farmers. So big upside there. Let's move on to slide 12, Beth. All right, so what are the different avenues to entering into being a farmer's agent? The first one we just talked about. It's a retail agency or acquiring an existing farmer's book of business. First step, have to complete a background check. With farmers, it's no felonies and no collections greater than $5,000. That's all we're looking for. You do have to meet a liquid capital requirement of $50,000. Again, we are not a franchise, so you don't liquidate it. You just have to show that you have financial backing to invest in the business. You have to go through the licensing process that John talked about. So property and casualty is one set of licenses. The second set is life and health. You will go through a 5-week University of Farmers training program, as well as the local support from our district here in Naperville. You will have to sign an office lease, but as an independent contractor, we do not tell you how big the office has to be. The only thing that Farmers requires is that you are not within a half a mile of another farmer's agency. So we just don't want you stacked on top of somebody else. So plenty of opportunity to open up offices throughout the greater Chicagoland area. And the last requirement is you have to have at least 2 licensed producers. But again, as an independent contractor, Farmers does not tell you, A, how much to pay them, and number 2, the hours, the number of hours that they have to work. So that's at your discretion. So that's the retail program. The protege is what we talked about with Hayden. So liquid capital is waived. You still have to complete a background check. You still have to be property and casualty, life and health licensed. You will work with a mentor agent that has been established with Farmers. You'll complete the protege training, which is during that 1 to 12 month program. You will be required to produce $100,000 in premium, and then you will be able to open up your agency, and you will go on as a retail agent, which is on the left-hand side of that slide that I just covered. And then the last opportunity, I won't go into it a lot, is if you say, hey, I'm not sure if insurance is right for me, but I kind of want to test the waters a little bit. I will go out and get my licenses. I'm going to keep my existing job, and maybe I'm going to sell policies during the evenings, on the weekends, to see if it's a good fit for me and my family. And it kind of operates as if you're a protege. So within a 12-month rolling basis during a 2-year program, during the 12 months, if you achieve $100,000 in premium, you then become eligible to open up your own farmer's agency. And again, you waive the capital requirement. So there's really 4 ways to come into Farmers: retail, purchase a book of business through acquiring an existing agency, the protege, and the associate. So we have an entry point for every single person that may be on this call right now, or listening to this recording later. All right, next slide. And I am down to 2 slides before we take Q&A. I'll be very quick on this one. What are the steps and how long does it take to get through the process? Are always questions that I get. Today we're reviewing the opportunity. You would have your first interview with John and myself. We do the background check. We complete the licensing. We do the training and the onboarding. We meet either the $100,000 in production. We have to get your 2 staff members licensed and appointed. And we also have to sign that office lease. Once those steps are done, you're open for business. Generally speaking, and it varies based on how much experience you have. If you come in with your licenses already, I say that it's about a 60 to 90 day timeline from the very first interview to opening up the agency. If you don't have your licenses, I just add 30 days onto that. So 90 to 120 days. So from today, you can already be anticipating to open the doors to your farmer's business, I would say January 1st or February 1st of 2023. So pretty good opportunity. Next slide. A lot of people want to talk about culture, and I hit on it at the very, very beginning. When I meet somebody, I want to learn about their family, because if they're like me, if they're like 95% of the people out there, their why on what they're getting into and why they're wanting to start this endeavor and this journey with farmers is to provide a better life for their family. My why in my 20 years with farmers has been to support my wife, Catherine, and my 3 children, and maybe to create a legacy for them someday. We are all about that family atmosphere. My staff, John and Gabby, are an extension of my family. My 33 agents throughout the greater Chicagoland area, I know their spouses, their significant others. I know many of their children. My wife and I, we put on a big promotion during a lot of years, and that's a big trip. We've done cruises. We've gone to 5-star resorts where we take the spouses and significant others to celebrate the accomplishments and the successes of our agency force. We put on a nice awards banquet this past year where we recognized our performers. We invite everybody and their spouses, black tie event. We have a good time, we have fun. But to me, you're putting in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I've got to know your family. I've got to know about your why, and we care. We care about your family. I always say we're not in the insurance business. We sell some of those products, but we are in the people business, and that's what's most important. We build relationships with our customers, our clients, and we are in the people business with you. We are in this business, growing your business and helping you every step of the way. So that's what our culture is all about, and that's what the Farmers family is all about. So Beth, I don't know, I haven't been able to keep track of the Q&A coming in, but if there's any questions out there that I can help answer or John can help answer, let's hit on those pretty quick. And
Great.
Thank you for putting my my contact information. There is my cell phone. You can text me, you can email me. My office line is there. If you're super hungry and ready to get started with this opportunity, I'd love to hear from you later this afternoon already. We'll be reaching out to many of you to see if you'd like to take the next step and learn a little bit more about our opportunities. So Beth, fire away on the Q&A.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we are going to take the questions. Remember, you're muted, so please go ahead and chat those over. We will leave the contact information up so you can write down the information, take a picture of it so that you'll have it. You also are going to get that in an email later today, but if you really want to reach out right away, go ahead and take that information down right now. So let's do a few questions. I know you touched on licenses and you said they need property and casualty, life and health. One of the questions that came through was, can I get those licenses while I'm currently working in my current job? Is that something I could do?
Absolutely. So the state requirements here in Illinois are that you do 2 days of pre-licensing for each set of licenses. So really it's 4 days. You can do that from the comfort of your own home. As John mentioned, we work with at least 3 different pre-licensing companies, and majority of them do offer weekend classes. Another question, Beth, that usually comes with this one is, how much does it cost to do both the pre-licensing and become licensed in the state of Illinois? It does vary a little bit depending on the company that you go through, but you can become fully licensed with all your pre-licensing with your 4 exams that are required for $650. And those are your personal licenses in the state of Illinois. So
great. I know that many people are curious always about the capital requirements, and you said it was $50,000. Didn't have to be liquid. Any suggestions on how people might come up with that if they don't already have that in an account?
Yep, good question. So Farmers has a couple of ways to do it. If you don't have it in checking, savings, if you don't have it tied up in mutual funds, other investments, we do have our own Farmers Insurance Group credit union. We will accept a line of credit approved through either our Farmers Credit Union or through a bank of your choosing. So line of credit definitely helps qualify. So if you have 20 in an account and you need another 30 to meet the capital, then you can certainly go through that. And also many times I've seen it, somebody has a family member that, you know, maybe you have 40 and you're a little bit shy. You need a little bit of a loan from a mother or father or brother or sister, and you can have them transfer those funds into your checking or savings. As soon as Farmers approves your capital, you can literally Zelle it back to them, Venmo it back. Farmers only looks at the capital one time. And again, if you don't have 50,000 in capital and you don't have the means to get there, we have the Protege program or the associate. So, and that's where you're able to waive the capital requirements and learn about the business before you start your own agency.
That's
So
excellent.
good question.
Those are great ways to get in the program, which kind of leads to another question that came up. On the Protege and Associate Agent program, are those salaried positions or straight commission?
Those are good questions. So Protege, you are actually an employee of the mentor agent. Remember, our agents are independent contractors, so every agent will have a different compensation plan. But generally speaking, they will offer a monthly base salary that can range anywhere from, you know, $1,000 to $3,000 depending on the agent, and they will oftentimes do a new business commission split. Could be 100%, could be 75%. So you are getting paid while you are working with that mentor agent, but again, it all depends on which mentor agent you are associated with. The associate program, there is no base. You're just kind of learning the business. You're going through training with me and my team, but you're oftentimes working your other job. So you have income coming in that way, and you're kind of dabbling, you're getting your feet wet. You're seeing if this might be a good opportunity. A lot of times we then see that associate agent maybe slide into the Protege program, or if they've got a lot of contacts, maybe they're coming in from being a realtor, mortgage broker, loan officer, so they've got lots and lots of contacts. They do their 100,000 pretty quick and they're ready to open their doors. So appreciate that question.
Perfect. Speaking of opening the doors, I know you mentioned something about no offices within a half mile of each other, but everybody always wants to know if they can pick anywhere they want to open an office, and does it have to be brick and mortar or could it be home-based?
Yes, so the office cannot be a home office. It has to be a quote unquote retail space where there is an actual lease signed. Again, there are no square footage requirements. There are no, we can't tell you what to put into your office and how to make it look. You could literally be in a 450 square foot third floor building of a medical facility. That would count. You could be in a Regency, a Regis or like a WeWorks facility where it's a shared office space. That would count as well. So you cannot work from home, but again, we want to have you keep that overhead expense down as much as we can through at least the first 3 years of the retail program. In my job, I am more than happy to go out, look at different areas, different cities, different zip codes, first to make sure it is a area that we want to grow farmers agents in. Sometimes we do come across different areas where maybe there's already 4 to 5 agents that are located there, and we're already a little bit saturated. I would tell you in general, though, we're at about 4 to 5% market share here in the state of Illinois. So that's good news because we got lots of opportunity to grow. So in most zip codes, we do want more farmers agency owners.
Perfect. Following up with actually opening my office, you mentioned at least two licensed staff members. Is that something you could help me find, those two staff members?
100%. You heard from John. John is my district head of recruiting. Not only does he look for agency owners, protege candidates, but through our different recruiting platforms, we are always looking for licensed staff members to help our 33 agency owners that we currently have. We also talk to many people that don't want to be an agent, but they want to be a staff member, and maybe they don't have their licenses yet. So we identify them. John works with them on the pre-licensing and the onboarding. So yes, if you're getting ready to start as a retail agent, you've got one person that is a rock solid staff person that you're going to bring aboard. There's not another maybe family member that wants to join you in opening your agency. We are more than happy to help recruit a staff member to help you achieve that 2 staff requirement. And again, Beth, just to reiterate, they don't have to be fully licensed. They have to have either property and casualty or life and health. But I would highly advise that every staff member have their property and casualty because of the highest volume of business is in the auto and home market. So.
Perfect. I do have one more question that came through, and it's probably a great way to end it. What do you see are the characteristics of your most successful agents?
That is a great question. So I oftentimes joke a little bit about it and say our agency owners are interesting individuals. They all have a little quirkiness to them. They're hungry. They're entrepreneurial, spirited. They're go-getters. We oftentimes will come across maybe people that have actuarial backgrounds or accounting backgrounds, and they want to know all about the policy and is this right? What does that 19th page of the homeowner's policy mean? Those people generally are not our most successful. Our most successful are the people that are willing to go out. They have lots of connections. They've got lots of referral sources. They're active in their communities. They are really willing to make the business part of their every single day life. If they're in the grocery store and they're talking to somebody, talking to the teller at a bank to say, hey, when's the last time you've had your insurance reviewed? I don't know. It's been 4 years. I don't even know who my agent is. Well, hey, my name's Nate Hildner. I'd love to give you my business card and give you a quote. And you're out to dinner with your spouse or your significant other. Talk to the waiter. Hey, when's the last time anybody's reviewed your insurance coverages? I mean, you literally have to live it every day. And those people that aren't scared to do that, and they really have that why behind them. And generally it's family, and they're wanting to create a legacy. They're wanting to own something that is theirs. They're hungry. Those are my most successful people. When I sat down with Hayden and Fred in those first couple of interviews, like, they were ultra competitive. They were aggressive. They told me, who they had in their circle of their network, on who they would reach out to immediately. And I knew the minute they walked out the door that they were going to be successful, and they have been extremely successful.
That's great. Thank you so much. That was our last question. I do want to thank Nate and John for your presentation today, and everyone that attended and everyone that's going to watch this on demand. I do want to remind you that you are going to get this via email later today. Please feel free to share this with any friends, family, colleagues that might be interested in learning more. Also, please be sure to reach out to Nate with any other questions you may have, or if you're ready to get started in your career with Farmers. I hope everybody has a wonderful day.
Thank you again, everybody.